Two ways that rugby can improve. We've all got some ideas on this, but here's my two ways that I think that we can improve the game. Firstly, there's nothing wrong with the game. Look at the Six Nations. Look at the crowds of the Rugby World Cup. Like it's epic. It is such a cool product. And some of the programs over in France that are sold out. Toulouse, I think, sold out their stadium for the last 4 years, every home game. There is nothing wrong with the game, but I also think that when I'm sitting at home and I'm watching the NRL Rugby League versus Super Rugby, there is a difference. And it's all about attention and keeping me engaged. When I create content, I'm super aware of this now. I've been doing it for 7 years. You've got when you're putting out a piece of content, you got the first 1 to 3 seconds is super crucial. In the first second, I just want to show you that I'm not going to waste your time. This is quality content. It's quality video, and you're actually going to get a bit of value out of this. Like first, you know that thing about don't judge a book by its first impression. When you first see someone, your first impression, how you show up, is super important on social media. And then in the first 3 seconds, a little bit of a hook, like what are you going to get? What am I going to deliver on inside of the content? So if I started out a video, like a dropkick video like this, hi, my name is Peter Breen, and today we are going to go through the 3 key things when it comes to drop kicking and getting a little bit more height on the drop kick. But in the social media world, it has to be a little bit quicker. You've got to grab people, you've got to grab attention. So it might sound a little something like this. When I'm looking for height and hang time on my drop kick, I use a soccer ball, and this is how I do it. Like that is just so much information, so quick, and might grab someone's attention. So as I'm watching there, as I'm sitting there, I'm looking at one game that is constantly moving and evolving and flowing and keeping attention and creating a little bit of anticipation. And another game, rugby union, which sometimes, not every game, but sometimes goes really slow. So what I'm thinking is, can we have a rule change where we don't go from a slow thing to a slow thing to another slow thing? I want to keep scrums. I want to keep lineouts. But when I see a scrum go down and then we reset it, which is fine, we go again. And then I see either a knock on or a scrum penalty. We then kick to the line, which goes to another slow thing, which is a line out. Then we see like a not straight, which then goes back to a scrum. So we've gone slow, slow, slow. And each thing, like a scrum and a line out, there's a lot of things happening. It's very multi-complex, if that's a word. So we're asking players to do a lot and get a lot of things right. And every time things don't go well, or they compound, or it's a really poor weather conditions, our game does go from slow to slow to slow to slow. So if I could see a couple of rule changes, like for instance, if it's not straight, let's just go a compulsory free kick. So you have to quick tap it. There's no other option. You can't set a scrum. You can't do anything else. You have to take a quick tap and play. Now you could kick from that, but at least we're going to see a little bit more tempo, and what the crowd just needs to know what's coming next. We're really good with information when we know what's coming next, when we can anticipate something after a try. We all know that a goal kick's coming. Even though that's slow, we all look forward to seeing how this kick's going to go and the pressure and all the rest of it. Anticipation, to keep us engaged with a little bit more anticipation. The next one is knock-ons. You should be allowed to go for an intercept try. No issues, no penalties, no downside. Here's the reason why. When a basketball player in the NBA is doing their move between the legs behind the back, they're trying to create a little bit of space. They go up for their jump shot and they get blocked. The attacking player wasn't good enough to get their shot off and they got blocked. It was the attacking player's fault. So in rugby, we say, well, the attack wasn't good enough, but they knocked it on, so therefore it's a penalty, yellow card, ruin the World Cup. It just seems a little bit, it just doesn't feel right. Whereas if we said defense, you do whatever you want. The attack has to be good enough to get it there. Now, that won't actually have a negative effect. If a defender wants to come out looking for intercepts, there's space, there's holes, there's manipulation, there's pumps, there's dummies, go over the top. We need to say attack, just be better, be good enough, execute your skill. So I'd love to see just us get rid of that. If it happens in a tackle or it's an intercept, or you're legit trying to stop a try by knocking the ball down, no worries. The attack wasn't good enough. It's not your ball, like you've still knocked it on, but the attack wasn't good enough and they shouldn't get rewarded. I do just want to go through a couple of ideas from the Instagram page because there was a couple. Clock off until the scrum is set. Does this slow thing down? I think it would. I think the game would be extremely slow if we had a shot clock, and I reckon the refs have done a great job. I think there's a 30-second scrum clock at the moment, so no issues there. Whoever scores the try kicks the goal. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny to see. I reckon at like Masters games, that should just be how it is, or the Barbarians. But how it would work, I like having our gun goal kickers. I like Ramos. I like what Johnny Wilson used to do. I like the goal kicker taking the kick. And line out not straight with no compete, then play on. So if you win your line out, but it's not down the middle, but there's no compete, play on. I think refs are already starting to do that a little bit. So, yeah, but great idea.